on here? Steph talking to Steve. All right, he tells me he passes before his time. I feel like he's kind of somebody that you look up to in a way. He gives me a sign symbol of a father figure, but he also gives me a sign symbol of passing before his time. So another thing he gives me is that it was hard to breathe toward the end of his life. And if we take responsibility for something, it would be mostly like, being stubborn or lack of response time to whatever this is. So did we know if we were in some sort of situation, something like, yeah, maybe we should have taken care of it. Maybe we should have double checked something. Maybe we should have gone to the doctor. Maybe we should have, this is like he takes partial responsibility for just not taking that extra step. Then he tells me he passed suddenly and unexpectedly, and then he had a hard time breathing toward the end. Does that make sense so far? My dad, and a heart attack, and it happened very suddenly. So suddenly had a hard time breathing, maybe, and not recognizing the symptoms. And then he had told me that he didn't get a chance to say goodbye, but this also makes me feel like you feel responsible for not seeing the symptoms for him or not recognizing he was tired the day before. But he's telling me that he takes responsibility for not recognizing the signs of having a heart attack. His family doctor said he didn't have heart issues. Wow. His family doctor said he did not have heart issues. That is interesting. Obviously I'm not a professional doctor, even though that feeling when you say that to me, I do feel surprised. I'm not a doctor, but let's say we take all the responsibility off the doctor and only on him. Let's say we're feeling drastically tired one day or the day before we end up passing, and then the next day we have a heart attack. So he's like, let's say there's a woman that's like, oh, I told him he should have gone to the doctor, and he didn't. That's what he's taking responsibility there for. He's okay, and he's talking about he keeps talking about like home cooking and like if there's anything he regrets, it's the food. And he talks about, I don't know if you cook, a lot of people don't, but if you do, I feel like he's admiring that. So I'm like, yeah, it sounds like you probably would have gone a little overboard and had a heart attack. And then he starts laughing. He said, my body was just breaking down before that happened too. And then he rubs his leg like he was just starting to have his first medical issues in life before he ended up passing too. So it's almost like life. It's almost like the heart attack was the third thing. This happens. Oh, and then this happens. Oh, and then of course the heart attack happens. So I think life just really catches up to him. He says he goes, a piece of me. She doesn't know which piece. And I was like, does that mean you have ashes? What does that mean? And that's the question I'm asking him. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, what could that? Don't tell me. And so he also says that we have like an item of his clothing or something we make, or that something we have that he wore in honor of his memory. Little bit of twitching, but we'll get through it, right? He was having other health issues when he had the heart attack, and the doctor said his heart just couldn't take the pain. And then he was like rubbing on his leg and saying that he was having a couple of heart issues. Yeah, it's like his body, and that he seemed to have gotten tired. And I don't know why this man dies of a heart attack and then the doctor like denies that he has any heart issues whatsoever. I don't know if pain stops a heart. That's more of a nervous system thing. So that just kind of seems weird. But I'm not here to judge a doctor and their opinion. It's not my job. It's not what I'm here for. But he says, yeah, it was difficult to breathe. He passed suddenly, unexpectedly before his time. And he's making me feel like I'm watching my body deteriorate, but I'm not saying my pain isn't managed. So I question that, but whatever. Anyways, do you have his ashes? I still have his cowboy hat, still in the plastic. Oh my gosh, like absolutely untouched, still in the plastic. I love that. I'm like, we have something he wore or something he wore on him that now we have in honor of his memory, and it's his cowboy hat still in the plastic. I love that. He loves how you're choosing to honor his memory. Then he says you have a sense of humor, and then also says you're welcome. So this wonderful sassy man of a dad that you have, fantastic. He says he visits you in dreams. Grandma's your primary guardian angel, the one that had a hard time getting around toward the end, probably passed of cancer or something deteriorating medically. Short, round shoulders. That's your primary guardian angel. Your dad would be your secondary. Boom. I go to court tomorrow, and he was a character. I think you're going to do really good. Everything seems to go well. It should go exactly how you expect it to. You won't be surprised, and I feel like you're going to be upbeat about it. So it seems like it's going to go well. Don't know what court is for, but seems like it's going to go well. You won't have the outcome you wanted originally, but you'll be like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's fair. It'll definitely turn out fair for sure. Yeah, your dad was definitely a character. Love that he brought up the cowboy hat.